I'm the first one to do that. I bet you never knew that. Back like a tailbone. Who you got the tail on? If it ain't about me, about whole D, about face. If you ain't on higher, learn it. The soda in the pot and the fire, burn it. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my guest. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my.
Wow. Just wow. Let's just get on with it. Scream 6 is a slasher horror thriller film that has been directed by both Tyler Gillett and Matthew Bettinelli. The 4 survivors from the most recent Woodsboro Ghostface killings has moved to New York City for a fresh start. Just as they begin to feel a sense of normalcy, they receive an uncomfortable call. The survivors are once again in danger, and Ghostface is more brutal and ruthless as ever. It will stop at nothing to hunt them down. Now listen, after watching the previous Scream film in 2022, it left me with a bad taste in my mouth, and I literally butchered that film to an oblivion. I butchered the score, I butchered the character development, I butchered the story itself, and people really disagreed to my points, but their opinions wasn't really valid enough to pinpoint my interactions and my point of view of how I felt about the film. So that film left me in a more of a traumatic state of just staying away from the Scream franchise, to the point where I took my time trying to watch this one, but people was really begging me, and I think them begging me to watch this new one was them holding on to how I felt about the previous film, because they was literally telling me, you should watch this one, you should check this one out, this one is fantastic, whatever you said about that one, forget about it and watch this one. Here's the thing, right? I don't regret what I said about the previous film, but I do regret taking my time watching this one, because let's just say I liked it this one. I actually loved it. This movie was fantastic. In fact, I was mind blown. I was shocked of how much I enjoyed this film. Does that mean that was I wrong about what I said about the previous film? No. And do I feel bad about me bashing on the previous one? No. And do I feel as if I feel bad that this new one was great? No. I am happy that they have fucking made this one better, because it showed me that they have improved everything that was wrong with the 2022 version. And that's the reason why I like this one more than I expected, because not only that they have fleshed out and made everything better, but they have done what a lot of horror films fail to do when they keep continuing the franchise. Make it scary. Make it tense. Make me be on the edge of my seat. And they have done that here. Probably much so to the point where I think this might be the best Scream to date. And I am not making this shit up. The film picks up right after the 2022 version, where we're left with the two characters, Jenna Ortega's character and Melissa Barrera's character, Sam and Tara Carpenter. Now, I like how they have done the dialogue with these two characters and the pacing, because on the previous one, they showed us the whole choreography and how these characters was going to be together, but not to the point where we felt their drive, not to the point where we felt their connection. And they have done that well on this one. I really felt their motivation, especially Melissa Barrera's character, Sam Carpenter, because let's be fair here, Jenna Ortega's character on the previous one, even though her character wasn't really mind blown, but she carried the film for me. I thought her character was well done and well executed, but Melissa Barrera's character as Sam Carpenter, I felt like her character was pretty much of a bitch towards everybody, and there was a reason for her attitude, but it did not warrant it. It did not warrant it. I feel like it did not earn her reasoning of me being pulled in by her character's actions. But on this one, they have done that well with her character because we have seen what she has went through, and we know the drive of both of these characters, of how they're going to interact with each other, especially towards each other with their bond and their differences of how they saw things eye to eye, which they got into it with each other so many times, but it was understandable. They did that on the original one, but they wanted to show us their connection before we knew their bond. But on this one, they have done that well here to the point where it felt realistic to me, and they did not feel like characters that was just doing this just so you can get synced into the choreography of the film when things got bad. No, it felt like I was literally getting pulled into the realization of how they was interacting with each other. The side characters was actually fleshed out pretty well too on here, especially Courtney Cox's character, but it's like a double-edged sword because after what happened to the previous film with a certain character, I want to leave the spoiler free. But what happened to a previous character on the previous film, I was expecting Courtney Cox to have more grieving time, more time of her just reflecting of what happened. But instead, she just moves on and just go on with her business and goes on of just being a news reporter and just getting the scoop and just trying to get paid. I thought that was a little bit of a low blow, especially since we've grown and loved these characters to the point where we wanted to see how they would interact when one of them gets killed off. And Courtney Cox kind of let me down. Her acting ability of when Ghostface shows up and with her trying to redeem herself of what happened, it pulled me in, but it did not. I did not feel like it was believable. I was like, you know what? If you would have shown me more of what she was doing when shit was bad in the previous film, how she was dealing with it, then maybe I will understand how she ended up how she is now. But no, it was a double-edged sword, and I feel like her character could have been more fleshed out. Let's talk about Hayden Panettiere's character. It's kind of the same way of how she was on a previous Scream film, not the one in 2022, but the one before that, when her character, for what they have given us, was doable. It was understandable. But at the same time, I feel like they could have given us more screen time with her character. She tries to solve the certain riddles that Ghostface have given us and certain nitpicks of clues of how they was trying to figure out where he was and who the real killer was. They gave us that much to understand what she was doing, but not for us to care about her character. And again, it was okay. From the two characters that showed up from the previous installments and up being here, it was okay for us to be in a doable aspect of how the film was going to be taken off when things got bad. I want to give kudos to the other characters that was in the 2022 film, because I dogged them bad. I really talk shit about those characters because I felt like they was just being cannon fodder to us, feeling like they was going to be replaced from the new, from the old characters. But they have done the pacing well with these side characters here. I thought that the side characters was more than just characters that I believe their motives and drives, but I really felt passion for these characters to the point where when things got bad, I did not want them to die. They have done the pacing well with these side characters. It is not to the point where, it's not just to the point where I feared for their life, but I really wanted them to survive because they had good motivations. They had good survival instincts. But what I like about this film is that no matter how smart you are, Ghostface is always a few steps ahead, and it made me. This is where I was getting to be on the edge of my seat, because no matter what plan they had, no matter what type of motivations or what type of skill sets they had with each of these characters, because each of these characters had their wits, their brains, they bronze. They did not just make Ghostface brutal, but they made this motherfucker pretty freaking smart. They made him brilliant on here, and it made me fear for these characters' lives, especially when things really got bad. And I began to love these characters to the point where this happened. This has never happened to me before in a Scream film or in a horror film in a long time. I literally shed a tear. I literally cried when a couple of these characters died, and that has never happened in a Scream film at all. There was times I did feel bad of how they got killed in the previous Scream films, but they have done the pacing of these side characters so well to the point where when they got killed off, or when they just got stabbed, and I was like, no, they're gonna get killed. I really felt bad for these characters. I was like, damn, Ghostface has to pay for this shit. This is not cool at all. And I loved it. I loved it. It felt like there was really a death. That's fucked up. They have made Ghostface a freaking killing machine on here. Like a cold-hearted killing machine. And what I like about Ghostface too is that not only that they made his kills very brutal and kind of traumatizing, because they had a part where somebody gets stabbed in the fucking nose in this damn film. I was like, come on, man, that's I cringed when I seen that. I was like, Jesus Christ. But they have made Ghostface kind of a person that likes to troll people on here. Tell people where he really is, but he's not really there. And there was times where he would literally break the fourth wall and tell certain people that he's trying to kill, certain little clues of how to get out of this certain situation, but it would just make him be more thrilled of just how to kill him in a more thrilling aspect. They have made Ghostface here an asshole. They have made him an asshole, but all that comes into the reason of why he's killing these people, why he is doing this, and you would never know who Ghostface is. That's one of the major strengths about the Scream films, is that they would like to show you little things about who Ghostface could be, and they do a 180 and it's like, it's not him, it's not her, it's this guy. And every clue that you may have thought it was this person all connects to this other person, and it made even more sense. They have done that well here, but the only thing I did not like was the fact that even though they have showed this little certain twist and turn, and it made sense to how everything had played a part to all the other characters, this may be one of the most least reasonable solutions of why you want to be Ghostface. Even though what the killer has done made sense and it pulled you in, but it wasn't reasonable to be like, you know what, I would have done the same thing, I would have done all this. I was like, you know, if that's how you really felt, then why you just didn't go after that one person? Why did everybody have to die? So, yeah, bottom line, this movie has surprised me. I thought this film was gonna fall on its ass, especially after what I've seen in the 2022 one. But no, they have taken everything that was a problem and they have really went above and beyond on this one. I enjoyed it. They have succeeded on the horror. They have succeeded on the tension, suspense, dialogue, sorrow, the killer's motivations, and even the scares. This was a good film to watch. I really felt bad I didn't see this in the theater, because there was some times where I jumped up, and I'm pretty sure people in the theater would have done the exact same thing. Hey, director, producers, I can't really apologize, because by me apologizing, that means that I was wrong for what I've said in my previous review of y'all previous film. But I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all of making this film enjoyable, making this film worth my time. I'm gonna have to give Scream 6 B. Don't get the score twisted. This film does have problems that I just mentioned, but no horror film is perfect. When it comes to the survival tactics, when it comes to people thinking of how to survive in horror films, and even just how people do things when it comes to them being in a pressure mind state of just trying to get out of things alive, no horror film is going to come into the eyes of the people that's going to be like, you know what, all that made sense. Even my previous review, Nouveau Ordine, which is called New Order, I gave that film a high rating, but a lot of people disagreed to that because they were saying that the survival of that was something that they would not do. But it's all subjective. And the reason why I like this movie, and the reason why I gave Nuevo Ordine a perfect score, was because it all mix out of how people will do things when they are in the heat of survivability. If that was the case, everybody would have common sense. But no, we're out killing each other and we're out doing stupid ass shit. I love this film a lot. I love this film, and it deserves it because I do love it when directors and producers can correct things. I really want them to continue this off, honestly. After what I've seen after how this movie ended. We're on Scream 6. They're not Fast and the Furious in this one yet. I hope not. But I am giving them the green light. I want them to continue this off. I'm shooting blanks right now. Still trying to hold you guys over. I just can't believe how much I enjoyed this movie. This is I'm salty at this point. Other than that, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for my upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and you guys have a good day.